welcome to Paint the Chat podcast. Presented by Blockade Media. Now, here are your hosts, the big swinger, Mr. Robin Vogt, and fast on the bases, Mr. Sean Michaud.
He's a big spark plug.
Play ball.
Hey. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Painting the Chat podcast. Episode 16 coming at you live here and direct from New Hampshire. Of course, sitting across the way is my co-host, Mr. Sean Michaud. Sean, how's it going this evening? Or whatever direction you want to go.
My camera slipped. That's why I was so confused. It's good. Saturday, it's my day off. I wish it was better because the Red Sox lost, but
we'll get into that, of course, here on this episode. Of course, this is our pregame show before Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Sean, we'll get into our PTC picks for this game, of course, and we'll see where it goes from there. But, of course, leading into this evening, it is not the start of one of our podcasts without a score update from across the league.
What I love even more is pouring over box scores.
That is right, everybody, coming at you live, all the different scores from across the league. Sean, I'm going to start in the major leagues. Of course, we'll get into basketball, but the just ended right now, the Colorado Rockies once again losing. Their losing streak continues. They are now 9-51 on the season.
Ooh,
the New York Metropolitans.
Can they get 10 wins by the end of next month?
It's a stretch. It's a stretch. The New York Mets, Juan Soto finally goes off and gets rid of the Sono conversation. Gets a home run. Jeff McNeil with a home run. Francisco Lindor with a home run. Of course, again, today the Mets win 8-2 over the Rockies on City Connects Saturday. Sean, also happening in the Major League. Yep. Yeah, it's all about the Mets, baby. All about the Mets. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim trail the St. Louis Cardinals right now in the bottom of the 8th, 5-7. The Tampa Bay Rays put up 16 runs on the Houston Astros in the bottom of the 9th, 16-3 over the Astros, of course. Sean, today the Chicago Cubs are riding it hot, beat the Cincinnati Reds 2-0. The Toronto Blue Jays, talk about a team figuring it out in the American League East right now with a win over the Athletics 8-7. The Baltimore Orioles get a win, but it's over the Chicago White Sox 4-2. Not a big one to be talking about, but Sean, the Milwaukee Brewers come through 17-7 over the Philadelphia Phillies, loving it.
Let's go Brewers.
This ain't
my Brewers fans up.
Looks like the Cardinals beat the Texas Rangers. Yes, they beat the Texas Rangers, of course, 2-0. Sean, we'll get into it. The Atlanta Braves defeat the Boston Red Sox today 5-0 after a great win yesterday for the Boston Red Sox. We'll get into that, of course, what that means going forward. The Kansas City Royals beat the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers' winning streak comes to an end. They beat them 1-0. The Marlins also beat the San Francisco Giants 1-0. Tonight on Fox at 7:15, it is the red-hot Minnesota Twins against the Seattle Mariners. Last night's Twins Mariners game was absolutely fantastic. The Mariners are trying to figure it out, of course, in the AL West, but the red-hot Minnesota Twins also figuring out. Also at 7:15, the New York Yankees taking on the LA Dodgers. Sean, did you see Shohei and Aaron Judge and Austin Wells and Trent Grisham all went off last night?
Aaron Judge had the home run, and then Shohei returned that twice. So he hit twice. I think he's up now 30. No, not 30. How many home runs?
He's
32.
He's definitely in the double digits there.
No, I'll look that up. Hold on.
Yeah. Sean's going to get that
22,
that number right
sorry.
there. 22 home runs. Also at 9:40 tonight, Sean, your Pittsburgh Pirates take on the San Diego Padres. We'll see how that goes for Pittsburgh. I feel really bad for the franchise right now. Also on FS1 at 10:10 from Arizona, the Diamondbacks take on the Nationals. The Nationals riding a real streak here. They went from what was bottom of the league in terms of the National League and, of course, bottom of the AL East. They're up to 27-30. They're competing for a wild card at this point, which is incredible to think alongside the Diamondbacks. Of course, as we get towards the middle part of the season, you'll be hearing from us in terms of our second half predictions, who we think are going to lock up wild card spots with the expansion from last year in the wild card room. So please make sure to stay tuned for that. Of course, the New York Knicks take on the Indiana Pacers tonight at 8 o'clock on TNT. Pregame has already started. New York Knicks are only down by one game. Pacers lead 3-2 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse this evening. We will have PTC picks as of right now. Indiana's 3.5 favorite over the New York Knicks for the game. And of course, over in the WNBA, the 1-4 Chicago Sky take on the 1-5 Dallas Wings. Sean, what is going on?
Let's do a repeat of the other game. Let's not, please.
And ladies and gentlemen, for this evening, those are your scores. Sean, thoughts on any of that?
Let's go. I was gonna say let's go Pirates tonight. The one I'm gonna talk about a little bit is the Wings and Chicago Sky, because I watched the game because they played in Chicago a couple days ago. So then I think they're at Dallas tonight, right?
Yes, that's correct. They are in Dallas this evening.
Paige Becker's out for two games because of I guess it's because of the hard hit when she fell down. She got a concussion. Yes. Westwell Page. I hope. God, I'm not gonna butcher her name. Enrique is gonna go off again. Mm-hmm. Hope, but she played off really well. I don't know what's going on with the Wings head coach, because his coaching is so terrible. Like when someone goes off, like you're not giving Paige enough minutes, and I think also I wish Paige would shoot more of the three instead of doing two, because she's passing so many open. When she's open for three, she just passes it. It's like that's probably because the head coach is doing it, but also,
sure,
you're your shooter, shoot like that. Come on,
right?
And then when her teammates don't connect at three, it doesn't happen. So I mean, it's been happening like that. So I don't know.
Well, and with Paige Becker's out now, I mean, this is kind of goes back to our conversation in the last episode 15, where with Caitlin Clark out now, Paige Becker's out. There's going to be a lot on Angel Reese. There's going to be a lot on, Sabrina Ionescu and like some of these, staple WNBA players to really carry the torch in terms of like continuing to market the league during this time and whatever else. I know the WNBA has been around for a while, but we haven't seen this kind of, brand of superstars exist all at the same time within the WNBA. So I think, again, it kind of further deepens the point that I was making on last episode, which is WNBA really needs to pick it up. Like, this is an opportunity for them to really see what it's like to not have the Iowa superstar and the UConn superstar, be a part of that conversation when it comes to the WNBA. And I know First Take and a bunch of ESPN shows have been talking about that impact, when you look at NBA playoff season, and that's going to be coming to a wrap, and WNBA season is going to be continuing on. Mm-hmm. There's a sports gap that exists where it's just baseball and WNBA. So there's a chance here for them to do something and to really push that. I don't know where that stands in terms of how they're approaching this, but
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to understand the league itself right now, like how they market. Because it's sometimes it's good, but sometimes I've seen a lot of people complaining of like these games starting at like 3 games started at 7:00. I'm like, people want to watch other games too. It's like, okay, like the scheduling for the WNBA is terrible. I test it if I want to watch a game, or like I had to watch the Dallas Wings game on Amazon Prime too. So
jeez, is it fair to say
I have Prime?
Yeah,
so
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so is it fair to say right now, because of the Paige Becker's injury and because of Caitlin Clark's injury, that and to be honest, because of this new era of superstars that's coming out of the NCAA with the NIL, with money being suddenly funneled into the WNBA in terms of merchandise and deals and whatever else, is it fair to say that the WNBA is starting all over these next couple of years? Like this really, because of NIL and because of these deals and the popularity of NCAA women's basketball here,
I mean,
it's like NCAA women's softball, how Major League Baseball has now suddenly invested in that.
I'm actually glad they did that. College softball, just going off a little tangent.
No,
it's been going on right now and I've been seeing it everywhere, which I love. And it didn't do that back in the day when, like 10 years ago, it was not as popular now. But like I've seen so many people talk about like these great people playing softball. So
right. Yeah. So do you think the WNBA this is a rebranding period? Like this is an opportunity for them to kind of start over this league and to give folks something to watch.
I think it is. I mean, I think it's the end of we don't have Candace Parker, we don't have Diana Taurasi anymore in the league anymore, and we got to rely on Caitlin, Paige. We have Juju coming up in a few years.
Yes, I know. That's just
I think it's Sarah Strong, AZ Fudd, all the UConn greats, and we had. I think it's gonna be a wild couple of years for WNBA, but I think it's gonna grow more popular with all these players. So,
yeah, it's just I think it's a lag period where injuries do happen, and until the WNBA continues, like you said, Juju coming up. Yeah. In the coming years, like there will be injuries in the WNBA, but there'll be other superstars to lean on, similar to NBA. If LeBron's out, whoever else, you still have Shea, you still have Ant-Man, you still have all these people.
It's just hard when players get hurt. Like last year when Cameron Brink got hurt, and she was out for the season, and the season's so short, so she didn't come back and play. It's hard to break these. Not break records, but like play in a longevity because of how short the season is for the WNBA compared to the NBA, which is, I guess, comparable because, I mean, of course, NBA brings more money in. But I mean, I think
we're hitting, I think we're going to hit a period here where that could change. I think we're going to see the WNBA start to bring in comparable numbers. To the NBA in the coming years, if it does, and it seems to
teams, and this is the first year for the Valkyries, so
right expansion. I mean, that's exactly what happened with the NBA when they moved away in the 50s and the 60s and started expanding to new cities and everything else. Suddenly, the league grew. In the NFL, very similar, adding the Houston Texans, adding all these new franchises along the way. That grows the popularity. It puts it in cities that traditionally haven't had sports teams. And it allows for that profit extension to go throughout the league from city to city. And especially with, again, the NIL, if you're talking about the Connecticut Sun being right there in Connecticut, down at Mohegan Sun, and you have UConn, and the Fairfield women's basketball team, who also made the tournament this past year. There's talent there. And there's an ability to expand on that with money through NIL and the ability to recruit as well. So I think we're going to see a golden age of WNBA basketball, and hopefully with Major League Baseball's expansion into women's softball as well, that expansion too. But we'll see at the end of the day around that. Of course, tonight, Sean, we have the Indiana Pacers. That's why we're on here this evening. And the New York Knicks, Game 6. I did not think I chose the Knicks as an upset, but
I mean, I chose the Pacers, but they played terrible last game. Like, holy shit!
Tyrese gave up. He gave up. He had 6 or 8 points the entire night. It was really surprising. And then I texted you, and I was like, "Oh, beginning of the fourth quarter, Tyrese is putting on the shooting shirt. I think that's it for him this evening." You're like, "Well, let's hold on, because the Knicks usually come back from 20 down. The Pacers could come back from 20 down. And it's just like Cat and Josh Hart and Miles McBride and the rest of the crew. The Nova Knicks went off. So.
Yeah, because we were talking about we were talking about the fouls that fucking. Like I hate the NBA refs. They're so fucking terrible.
They have been horrible this entire postseason in the NBA. They have just been horrible, and the calls that they're making. Just let the guys play. I don't understand half the time when it looks like a clear block. Suddenly they're calling.
I felt like I was watching the second quarter for like second third quarter where it was going. It was the second quarter because I felt like no one was hitting anything. Past like 6 or 7 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
And it's because of all these fucking fouls everyone shoot. And because of course they're missing, but I don't know.
It was sloppy basketball.
It was sloppy. It wasn't basketball. It wasn't the first half wasn't fun to watch, like from either team.
No. And it was really embarrassing at different times, of course, for some of these players. I mean, for Tyrese, just not a good night. I expect, as we get into the conversation about this evening specifically, it's back at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The Indiana Pacers have a chance to lock it up at home and to move on to play the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, exactly. Sean,
if they don't make it win tonight, I think Knicks are going to win it. They have to win it at home.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We're going to know pretty early in this game where Indiana is at. Is Tyrese ready to go and really solidify himself as a top 5 player in the NBA? I know there's been this whole conversation of is he even top 10? I mean, he's made it this far twice in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? And he continues to put up amazing numbers during the regular season. He's not doing it with a lot of the talent that you see, like Pascal Siakam. He's a star. Yeah, he's not a top 5 big man in the NBA. Miles Turner's not a top 5.
It felt like the first few games of the series. It felt like he was the top superstar. He was just playing so well.
Yeah. So he's been doing it with players similar to, let me be honest here, similar to the way Jason Tatum has been able to do what he has with the Boston Celtics. And we're considering Jason Tatum a top 5 player, if not a top 3 player.
Yeah, but no one talks about it. It was like, I saw a graph today. Is this like, which player is this? It has like great talent and like the really good numbers, and then like the low bars like doesn't really be talked about. And what's this Jason Tatum? Because it's probably because of the Celtics.
Jason Tatum. Yeah. Right. He plays in Boston, so we just don't. It's that whole.
I think he's like probably the top 5 players of the league right now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you put him up there with Shea. You put him up there with.
I don't think
LeBron's arguable. LeBron is
probably
arguable.
Up 10, but LeBron of this year, no.
Yeah, no. I would even say the past 2 years, to be honest with you. Like, he just has not. He's definitely top 10. Definitely not top 5.
I think Kevin Durant is better.
When you look at what Kevin, yeah. So it's interesting, and that conversation is going to continue with Tyrese, depending upon this evening. I think if you see Jalen Brunson go off these next 2 games, let's say the Knicks do move on, do they have a chance against the Oklahoma City Thunder? Absolutely not. I'm not sure the Indiana Pacers have a chance against the Oklahoma City
Thunder. I think OKC is going to win. OKC. I think they're just I mean, I think Pacers could win at least 1 or 2 against Oklahoma City, but I don't know if Knicks will be able to.
Oh, it's a 4-game sweep. It's a 4-game sweep. 2 at Oklahoma, 2 at New York. I just
like. I don't think.
I mean, Shea's putting up. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to come down. Like if they're down 20 points or 25 points, I don't think they're going to come back. I mean, maybe a little bit like 15-10, but I don't think they're going to come back and overturn because they're, like you said, as SGA is so well.
I don't know if the Knicks can, because let's be honest here.
Unless Karl Anthony Towns goes off, like
right,
he was going off last game.
He was hitting threes. He was finding rebounds. He was getting those and ones. He was doing a really great job inside the paint. The problem is like, and again, I think tonight specifically, if the Pacers are able to close it out, we have to watch how the Pacers play this game against the Knicks. Are they going to go all out, or do they know that Karl Anthony Towns, his knee's a little bit bummed out right now? You know,
I'm surprised
it's not working the way it should.
I mean, I'm surprised it's been like that. Like,
yeah. How hard do the Pacers go in order to try to go to win tonight? That's the question. If they are, and this is just what I think, if they want to prove to Oklahoma City that they are going to bring the game to them and that it will be a competitive NBA Finals, they need to blow out the Knicks tonight. I'm talking 25, 30 points, because that's the way you send the message. If they end up losing the game or only win this game, I would say, like, a win's a win. You move on to the NBA Finals. Tyrese, the conversation is still there. But if you only win it like by 3 points, 5 points, 8 points, or it goes to overtime, Oklahoma City Thunder, Chet Holmgren and Shea are just sitting over there laughing because they know they're going to be able to put up 30 plus on you.
Look at Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams.
No one talks about him enough.
Budding superstar right now. This dude is going to get $120 million at some point for a multi-year contract because he is just absolutely balling right now.
Like, his last game, he put up fucking. I mean, he was playing for 2 minutes and had 8 rebounds and 19 points. Like,
those are big numbers.
Yeah,
those are big numbers. Those are. Can I be honest here?
And 5 assists.
Those are Joel Embiid type numbers when Joel first broke out into the league. And everybody was like, this dude deserves $200 million. That's what we're talking with Jalen Williams right now. And somebody who's going to have a longer career than Joel Embiid.
I think so.
So, listen, if OKC's got that budding right now, and you got Tyrese that's going to come in there, I think. We'll see. We'll get to PTC picks, and we'll see how we feel about this game tonight. But, Sean, we look at this last performance here, and we see how the Pacers just kind of gave up at a certain point. The Knicks were able to take advantage at different times, even with poor shooting. If Indiana comes out tonight and they just are missing shots left and right, and the Knicks are taking advantage, I think you're right. I think the Knicks end up getting a win at home. I just don't see this going back to New York, like you said before, without the Knicks getting a win in that case, and then moving on to the finals against the Thunder.
I mean, like you said, all depends on how many points to get.
Yeah, it comes down to defensive efficiency. It comes down to how Cat is shooting. And to be honest, somebody who hasn't really shown up at times when they really needed him, Andrew Nembhard and the rest of the crew, as we know, came back and really did amazing work, like Ben Shepherd and the rest of them for Indiana. But boy, Miles Turner needs to step it up a little bit. Like, he's got the rebounds and everything, but I just don't see the same Miles that I did during the regular season. I don't know if you have the stats over there, Sean, in terms of his points in the last game. But
I can look it up. I had another.
Go ahead. Stat blast it.
Not points. Post.
Yeah, go ahead.
Stat, but so we're gonna go a little PTC pick because I'm picking the Pacers because of the home field advantage, because they're 29-12 at home, and away they're 21-20. So it tells you a lot. They're much better at home than away, and I think they're gonna close this game out.
You set yourself up. You set yourself up for a PTC pick there. Continue your thought on that.
No, yeah. I was going to go back because I got the recent stat for last game for Miles Turner. He didn't play as much time, only 24 minutes, only 5 points and 2 assists and 2 rebounds. Like,
can't be doing that.
No,
can't be doing that. So, Sean, your PTC pick is pretty clear then this evening. You like a very specific team.
Yes, I will not be wrong this time.
What do you got for a final score on that one?
Oh God,
is this going to be close, or are we talking a blowout from Gainbridge this evening?
I don't think it's going to be blowout, but I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like either 10 or 12 point margin.
Okay.
Probably like Indy, like 1. 118 to like 109.
Oh,
Like
118, 109. So 9 point.
9 points. I don't think it's gonna be a big blowout, but if it is, I would be happy. But
that is Sean's PTC pick.
Who do you have?
Are you ready? Sean Michaud, we are going to have a Game 7 in New York City.
Or not.
Yes, we are. The New York Knicks are going to win in overtime this evening. 116.
We Pacers haven't had an overtime against the Knicks.
I think we got a thriller this evening. I do. I think it's going to be a 116-110 win by the New York Knicks. I think the Pacers' last performance in New York, it was a Debbie Downer for them. I really believe that. I think Tyrese has got some air out of his tire. And of course, Andrew Nembhard came out and scored very well and performed well. But again, his ankle is still bothering him. So there's a part of me that would love to go with Indiana tonight at Gamebridge. There is a part of me. However,
I also think Cat's not going to play as well tonight. I think his knee's going to bug him even more if he keeps doing this.
We know what the NBA likes to do for viewership. We know the rigging of the refs in order to favor opportunity.
So how many times is Jalen Brunson going to go to the line because of these stupid calls?
I think you're going to see a lot of that in overtime, beginning of overtime. There's going to be some real dumb calls that are made. It's going to send the Knicks to the free throw. That's why I have it 110, 116 in overtime, is because it's probably going to end up with free throws and Indiana trying to come back in a close game in overtime. So I just foresee it's going to be an exciting game, but I think you and I, we're going to be watching and we're going to be like, what the fuck, refs? Like, seriously, what the hell? This seems rigged. The NBA wants it back in New York for Game 7, for the marketing, for the money, for the opportunity to sell tickets. You know, you pick up on that after a while.
First minute in, Jalen Brunson's going to go to the line, and there's going to be already a foul. I hope.
Which, by the way, have you seen this whole thing in Indianapolis about John Mellencamp running his mouth?
I have not seen that.
So I was watching the Pat McAfee show this past week, and you know how Pat grabbed the microphone and told all those New York Knicks fans and Spike Lee and the rest of them to go home in Game 4 that was at Gamebridge. And I guess John Mellencamp posted a whole thing about how it wasn't Hoosier hospitality, and it was really rude of somebody to try to represent Indiana. And it spurred a whole thing.
I don't like you. Pat McAfee responds to John Mellencamp after Pacers Knicks comment. Oh god!
And let me say a shout out to Pat McAfee in this case. The entire episode this week was great because they talked about the John Mellencamp situation. They were singing his songs the entire time. It hurts so good. Da-da-da-da. They're like talking about all of his best songs of all time while making fun of him. But listen, the Pat McAfee, John Mellencamp drama, whatever that is, he's going to be courtside this evening. Mr. John Mellencamp. I'm sure Mr. Pat McAfee is going to be courtside. It's going to get interesting. Will we see a brawl? I don't know. Would make for good TV. However, I know Pat does.
Maybe Stephen A. Smith will be there and start a brawl with this is Knicks, man.
I don't know what's going to happen, but tonight is going to be a testament to how the NBA Finals will play out. I truly believe that. Like, if we see an overtime thriller, sure. These two teams are evenly matched at different points and whatever else, but
I'd rather have Game 6 win and then go to Game 7 for OKC and Indy. That's what I want.
I would like to see that too. I just don't have the confidence that either one of these teams can pull that.
Probably not. I mean, that's what I want, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's why the New York media and ESPN and TNT and NBA is gonna be like, yeah, we need another moneymaker before both of these teams, either one of these teams gets swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I don't know. We'll have to see what plays out. Of course, we are less than an hour away from the tip-off of.
It's on TNT, right?
Yes, TNT, 8:00 p.m. The entire crew, the pregame's on. Shaq, Chuck, entire crew. So, which by the way,
so stop
very
watching
happy to
us
see.
and go watch them before I end on TNT.
That's right. That is right. Sean, before I'll have you close out with some final thoughts and things that maybe you want to bring up here on the show. One of the things that I do want to bring up here, and has been a big conversation recently, and I was listening earlier to WEEI, which is of course the radio station of the Boston Red Sox. Yeah. And there's been a lot of stuff going around about Roman Anthony. Roman Anthony has been performing like crazy in Worcester. He's putting up ridiculous numbers in Worcester, similar to Marcelo Meyer, which, by the way, his play at third yesterday, absolutely crazy. I mean, the dude is a bona fide, incredible infielder. Let's just get that straight. And the Red Sox are very lucky to have him. That he's a very versatile player, and he can play third. He can play shortstop. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think he could probably play left field. If you put him in left field with Jarren Duran, switch him up a little bit.
You probably won't be opposed to it.
Listen, he's willing to do what's best for the team, and similar to Christian Campbell, supposedly tomorrow is going to be moving over to first base, and he's going to be giving it a shot over there because of Devers' hot bat. However, this was on the WEEI Red Sox pregame today, and this is coming directly from, I want to shout out the source of this, Boss Sports Gordo, who we follow. Make sure to go follow him at BOS Sports Gordo over on X and social media. Gordo posted this specifically. He said, Red Sox Senior Director of Player Development Brian Abraham told us on WEEI that there were no promotions coming today, specifically around Roman Anthony's call-up and being a part of the Braves series. He said, but however, a lot of excitement coming in the next couple of days. To me, this means that they are going to get ready for Roman Anthony to come up probably before a Fenway series. My guess is because he's in Worcester, because he's playing well there, they want him to finish up in Worcester and have his first game at Fenway, very similar to historically how the Red Sox have always done rookie premieres. Has almost always been.
It should be. You don't want to go fly out for your first rookie. They probably would rather have it at Fenway. So
yeah, I'm just thinking like John Lester, Dustin Pedroia, Jonathan Papelbon's first game, like all of them were always at Fenway. So curious to hear your thoughts. I think the Red Sox are getting younger. I think they know this season is kind of behind them. And they're just ready to call up these guys and see who they got.
I think they knew once Alex Bregman was hurt and all the I think they need to make some moves to bring some more, like if the season goes to, like if they keep digging a hole for themselves, like let's bring some new guys to start pitching to see how they fit for next season. Yeah.
And it goes back to the Alex Cora conversation. I know on social media, on PTC Pod, and of course on my personal Twitter at X_Robin W Vote, I had posted something about Alex Cora and the status of Alex Cora. And we've talked about him here. You got Jason Varitek waiting there. You've got some great minor league coaches as well that could come up and teach these kids. You got Manny Ramirez, which, by the way, he posted a great bit on Instagram and on social media basically saying, guys, I'm down here in the Dominican, teaching young kids how to swing the bat. He's still got it. And you have an opportunity here. Imagine a Jason Varitek managerial spot with Manny at batting.
Yeah, hitting coach.
Yeah. I mean, I just, with how Alex Cora has performed as manager, he's trying to be friends with his players. He's trying to be best buds. That's why the Devers situation played it out. And that's why Dombrowski, what's his name? Not Dombrowski. He's out in Philly now. Craig Breslow went to Rafi Devers specifically, and he did not send Alex Cora to Rafi because he wanted to keep the managerial player relationship going. I personally don't think that's appropriate. I think it's got to be addressed by the manager when it comes to a position specifically. If you're that worried as a manager about ruining your relationship with a player because you're asking them, hey, pick up a glove and play a position, is he a right fit for the team or is he a drama queen? Like that's literally it.
I mean,
I get he's performing. Listen, Red Sox Nation, I understand. He's performing. He's playing amazing, right? You know who also performed fantastic after they picked up the glove and went to first base? Bryce Harper. Again, I'm bringing up that fucker's name. Bryce Harper did incredible going from the outfield to first base, continued to hit home runs, continued to produce for the Phillies. So I don't want to hear that him picking up the glove is going to ruin his ability to be at bat.
Bryce Harper is just a drama queen somewhere else. Not in that situation, but other situations he is. I agree with you.
My question to you, Sean, is like, is the Alex Cora experiment done? I think so, but
since 2008, 18, we only had one World Series win. Yeah, I think we're done.
Did I see that the Red Sox are an almost even 400? Like they're 413 and 413 since 2018 with Alex Cora.
That's not good.
You're playing 500 baseball. Like that's just on any other team, that manager is gone.
Gone. It's John Henry. Probably want him to keep him for a couple more years. And I hope that's not.
It's got to be frustrating as a Red Sox fan, Sean. It's got to be frustrating.
Watching games. Like, it's not fun watching games, even though when we win, it's still not fun.
You think Veritek's the answer at manager?
I think so. I said that like way back in like 2017 or 16 before Alex Cora came. I think a lot of people will think talking about. But like when Veritek was finally in the Red Sox organization, and not managers, but I think it's time for him to come up.
Yeah. You also got Tommy Hatovi, who has been in and out as a manager, has been a pitching coach. Tommy Hatovi, I mean, I met him at a hot stove event in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, when he was playing for the Portland Sea Dogs at the time. And Tommy is a really great guy. He's a great coach. I mean, if you're going to do a full managerial and coach, changeover, I think you put Tommy Hatovi in the pitching coach position. You put Manny at batting, hitting coach, and you put Veritek at manager. And I think you've got a solid squad of former Red Sox who understand the positions in which they'd be, coaching. I just don't know how well the players are responding to Alex Cora when you look at the way that they've responded down in AAA to Worcester coaches. Like those guys down there, Christian Campbell was absolutely slamming the ball. Marcelo Meyer, the reason why he's up right now is because he was slamming the ball in Worcester. And now Roman Anthony is because they're responding to their coaches. That's what it is. It's a solid squad.
Well, we'll see how these new players coming up respond to Alex Cora. I
think that's going to be telling.
And if they're not hitting well or performing well, I might have to. We'll have to blame Alex Cora, I think.
Yeah, they're bypassing that. They're bypassing that every time.
I mean, yes, they'll have a game where 1 or 2 games where they're in a slump. That happens. But if it's like constantly happening for like a month, it's like they need answers.
Yeah.
As Red Sox fans, we need answers. Why we're not doing well?
But you're not getting answers. It seems like Breslow and Cora are just dancing around this idea of, well, in due time, and it's like
the time when you said that a month ago, or look where we are.
You've been saying that for the last 2 years, essentially. Yeah.
We're coming up in tomorrow's a new month, June, and we're under 500. Well, I think how many games back? We're like 8 games back.
Yeah, you got Toronto breathing up your neck now. Well, Toronto's in second, I believe.
Sorry, yeah, we're 9 games back.
9 games back.
I mean, the Orioles are only 7 games behind us.
What is that saying, right? When you think about that.
Yeah, we have.
That's brutal.
Well, the Orioles won today, so.
Right.
White Sox, so.
I mean, how bad does it have to get for there to be changes? You know what I mean? I love one of the quotes I heard, which was, if you don't call up Roman Anthony, you're not serious. You're not serious about winning. You're not serious about this franchise.
Yeah, I mean,
which is true.
Like, how did we get to this point where Rafael Devers had like one of his best months? And
because they're giving into him. Sorry, they're giving into him.
Yeah,
he plays well when the franchise and everybody else revolves around him.
I mean, maybe that should be the answer if that happens. But
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm coming from this as a Mets fan, from the outside. If Rafael Devers was on the Mets, I'm just saying this right now. If he was on the Mets and he was acting the way he was, the New York Mets would be looking for trades almost immediately before the trade deadline, and then would be ready to pull that trigger after the All-Star break. Because the Mets are all about team players. They're all about how are we going to build this camaraderie. Juan Soto finally hit a home run today because his teammates and everybody else got around him and said, you know what, Juan? We're still going to stand in support of you here, no matter what the media says, no matter what. I don't see Devers standing up for the guys in the rest of the dugout. I just, maybe it does happen, but I don't see the camaraderie. I don't see that from the Red Sox specifically.
Yeah, it's hard when
you're losing. I mean,
it's hard when you lose it, but it's also hard when Devers like the one player where he's been in there the longest, and that's saying something because hasn't been on the Red Sox for a while. I mean, 6-7 years, but I don't know. He just doesn't seem like a leader. Like back then, he didn't feel like a leader. I thought he would learn to be a leader from Ortiz.
Your leader on that team is injured, and that's Alex Bregman.
I think so. I mean, I think that's why we got him, because his leadership. He was the leadership of the Astros.
Yep.
I mean, look where the Astros are now.
Yeah, when Altuve was out, he was really the one that carried that Astros team into the playoffs. It's really mind-boggling to me. I mean, other than Bregman, I mean, I think the next one up in terms of leadership in that dugout went to Jarren Duran. Suddenly, Jarren Duran was given this responsibility to be like, all right, you're the one. You're the one that's going to be carrying around the Wally head. You're the one that's going to be putting it on the players when they score runs. And you know, like that was Jarren's idea to begin with.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about a leader of the dugout. It's Jarren Duran right now. And that's a lot to put on what a 4-year, not even 4 years, 3-year player. Who still feels like they just came up from AAA essentially at this point because of how the Red Sox past couple seasons have been. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for the Red Sox, but it's a really rough stretch. They're losing easy games, pitching. I mean, when are we going to stop seeing Brennan what's his name? Berendino? I mean, Cora just keeps sending him out there. And it's like, I swear to God, I think I posted, it feels like he's been pitching the last 40 of the last 41 games.
Yeah.
Dude can't get rest. I posted the SpongeBob meme of Sandy dragging Patrick across the ground. That's what it seems like every time he's called out from the bullpen.
I mean, we only have Chapman. That's good for the bullpen, and he's a closer, but
yeah.
I don't know.
It's rebuild mode. I mean, it's back to rebuild mode, but they don't. It seems like they don't.
It feels like we've
that.
been in rebuild mode for like 5 years. If it's been feeling like that.
And who's been the manager during all 5 of those years?
Cora.
If you can't figure it out by then, yeah, it's time for you to go at that point. So, but we will see. Sean, just quickly, my New York Mets are riding high in the National League. We got another win today against the Colorado Rockies. Fantastic pitching from Kodai Senga once again. He has continued to, post one of the lowest ERAs in the majors. A couple rough stretches here and there. Surprisingly, the Colorado Rockies always find a way to try to make things interesting in these games. It seems like the White Sox do the same. The teams that really suck just find a way to make these games interesting at the end of the day. Francisco Lindor, Pete's been coming through at different times. Brandon Nimmo, home run today. Fantastic. Of course, Soto's figuring it out. I feel really good about this Mets team. There was a stat that was dropped during the game today, and I find this interesting. The Mets at home have the same winning record at this point in the season at home as the 1986 World Series championship Mets. Sean, I am feeling really good about this team right now. Of course, it's going to change. We got the Phillies coming up.
I'm right with you right now with this team. It's fun to watch.
The Mets are dynamic. Oh, they're so much fun to watch. If the games go to extra innings, we get the walk-off home run. Like, it's taken so long. We were in the postseason last time we were in there.
Yeah.
Was 2013.
Postseason?
And we made it that's when we made it to the World Series against the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember, yeah.
Postseason. We were in the postseason last year.
Played
the Dodgers in the NLCS. Couldn't figure it out against the Dodgers. The way that LA with Mookie Betts injured now.
Well, speaking of Dodgers, they're winning into the up 2-0 against the Yankees in the bottom of the first.
Right. So that's if the Dodgers can beat the Yankees in that way, and the Mets are able to beat the Yankees. I mean, that's what's driving me nuts. Everybody's looking at that LA Yankee series like, it's going to be a rematch of the World Series. Wouldn't say that just yet.
No.
I just feel confident. I feel confident that we're going to have a rematch of the NLCS last year and have the Mets versus the Dodgers. It just seems like that.
Don't. I mean, look at those Tigers, man. They're gonna be. I think they're gonna be the first
in the AL. Yeah, the Detroit Tigers are incredible.
I don't think it's gonna be. I think the Tigers are gonna go beat it against the Yankees. I think it's gonna be Mets Tigers World Series.
Mets Tigers would be incredible, man. Oh, be an absolutely incredible World Series.
They're on track to be the first team to get 40 wins this year. So
that's pretty big. There's been a lot of teams that have hit the injury bug recently that hasn't helped their case. You're talking about a very competitive AL and an NL that's kind of competitive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like other than the Dodgers and the Mets, the Padres are just kind of hanging around there. The Giants are just hanging around. The Diamondbacks are not the same Diamondbacks that made it to the World Series. Either a couple of years ago.
You got the Cubs and the Cardinals. So
the Cubs, the Cubs playing so much better too. But
you just need to be worried about the Phillies, man.
It really is. It comes down to, at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Phillies, and can the Mets beat the Phillies? If we can go into,
I think you definitely will. Depending how, we'll see how in like a month or so, see where the standings are. Or 2 months from now. I think the Mets will go to the postseason, no doubt. I don't know if they're going to get first or wild card.
Which is crazy to think, because we're on track for 100 right now, and
you guys have a lot. We have a lot of baseball to go to, man.
Right, but it's crazy to think that in the National League and maybe even in the American League, that there could be a team with anywhere from 95 to 100 wins, and they only get a wild card.
Well, we had that last year, didn't we? Or we had that a couple years ago. where
a couple of years
we had
ago.
Yankees and I think it was the Yankees and I believe it was the Rays that both over 100.
And the Rays, I think, or did the Yankees get the
let me see if I can find
wild card?
What year was that? 20. That was like recent. 20.
Before COVID year, so that was like 2018, 2017, probably. I don't know. It's the years blend after a certain point when it comes to baseball.
Well, I'm gonna be looking really quickly. Hold on.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but as you're looking for that quickly, I'll just say really fantastic performance from the Mets recently. They're going to try to close it out tomorrow against the Rockies. And then we open up series with the Braves and the Phillies, of course, coming up, and the Dodgers one more time. So.
I almost forgot the 2020 season was so short. I'm like, wait, why are these numbers so loading? And then I forgot COVID happened. I was like, the Rays only had 40 wins? Why is it loading?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah. So it's
I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever.
That's okay. We'll find that stat. We'll post it on social media so that folks can have that follow-up, of course. Sean, we're going to wrap it up here, of course, because we have Game 6 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals coming up in less than 20 minutes over on TNT. We hope to see all of you over there. I'm going to be taking over some of the controls on the PTC X account in terms of retweeting out and whatever else. I know Sean will be over there sharing out things that are going on in the game and whatever else, and sharing that out to folks as well. But Sean, any final thoughts here before this game this evening, and what else might be going on in the world of sports in your mind?
No, nothing else. Just ready for Game 6. So
that's right. We're gonna see what happens, Sean. So final pick, Indiana Pacers this evening, correct?
Yes. You have Knicks going for Game 7. Okay.
I do have the Knicks in overtime going for Game 7. So we also want to know what your picks are this evening, of course, here on X and over on YouTube. Please make sure to head on over to our social media. Share your picks. I'm going to be posting probably within the next 20 minutes or so our PTC picks for you to look at with a poll saying, who do you got this evening? So please make sure to go over there, vote, and support the podcast through that way. But Sean, we've hit that time of the show here. Of course, it's a little thing we like to call
up before you on plug time.
Plug time here at Painting the Chat podcast. Mr. Sean Michaud, where can the good people find you across social media?
Sean Michaud 1 on Twitter, and it's Z on Instagram.
Nice. You guys can follow me over on X Twitter at X_Robin W Vote, over on Instagram at IG_Robin W Vote. Make sure over there. Yes. Make sure to follow the Painting the Chat podcast crew over on X at Paint the Chat Pod. Same thing on Instagram at Paint the Chat Pod. Head over to our merch. You'll see it at the top of our X page. Support the podcast. We got the Fly the Banner. We got the vintage Boston style out there and plenty more designs coming. It's your one way that you can support us, keep the stream going, have these important sports contents. And Sean, let me tell you, we've got some fantastic guests coming up in the near future as well. We're going to have, from the court side, a Celtics podcast on as the postseason continues, and as the offseason continues and the Celtics look to try to rebuild around Jason Tatum, of course. So we're very excited to have High Above the Courtside podcast join us in the near future. Also, the New York MLB Talk podcast will be coming on to chat what's going on in baseball, sports, especially around the Mets, New York baseball itself, and we get to learn more about their show as well. So we're really excited. More guests, more folks to come on and chat with us about sports. So good stuff, John.
Good stuff. Excited.
Absolutely.
Let's head off here and go watch some basketball.
Let's go watch some NBA Eastern Conference Finals, folks. We'll see you next time here on Painting the Chat podcast. Coming here, episode 16. For my co-host, Mr. Sean Michaud, this is Robin Vogt signing off this evening. Enjoy the basketball, my friends. We'll see you over on social media this evening. Until then, see you later.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Have a good